Hey guys, so I have a recorded game of a multiplayer Habsburg game here for you, and I think it's better to kind of maybe showcase some of these matchups um, as if I was playing them multiplayer, and then like maybe talking through them and kind of explaining them. So let me know what you think about this style, rather than going through and explaining things maybe slowly. Just because it is a little bit different. I'll still try to do, my best to kind of explain everything going on. Looks like we're just setting up the different boards or whatever, and it's a Habsburg 5 game. So my initial thoughts are I'm probably going to need to eventually get majors. And I'm going to build around that, and I'm going to build around multiplayer. So building around multiplayer, you're able to utilize like all the other spirits beasts, and I'm kind of planning out as we do selection here how I can get all the beasts to my board in the spots that I need them, so when the time comes I can get a major and forget ever multiplying swarm, because I'll have all the beasts essentially on the board rather than from EMS. Looks like it's taking a little bit to start, so I'm going to just skip around. So first explorers into jungles here. A typical opening play would be to build into one of these jungles. I was thinking, for majors, maybe I can do the speed majors to get the 3 energy. Not entirely necessary, but I was thinking about it. I can't really grow anywhere effective. And I couldn't really deal with my coastal jungles if I did that. So what ends up happening is I have to take that G3, place the beast, and I have to deal with that other jungle, so I was thinking I could skip it. So I just pull a beast in, since I'm going to be able to grow with a sacred site there next turn, and then just skip it. So while this play is pretty good, you actually lose a beast early for some early fear. It's actually not that good. You probably want to take Blight the first 2 turns if you can, just to get rid of like Habsburg escalation. And you'll only ever need to take 1 loss condition on many mines, so it's not too big of a deal. So I do recommend just taking the opportunity to scale, but still get that beast in there for a future point in time where you do need to skip it. This game is a little bit slow, so I'm going to kind of keep skipping ahead to get through the interesting parts. Oh, there I took a look at the first event just to see if it did beast damage or did anything useful, but it did not. So we're going to build and gather here, and no real gathers other than the obvious choices here. The mountains is going into the jungles, the sands goes into my other jungles. I'm like slightly forgetting to build that other jungles, but I see it and pull that in. And then we explore mountains. This is a little bit of bad RNG because I'm going to get rid of the town adjacencies on the coast here, and I really want to deal with the city. If it wasn't to get that case, I would probably just let the other lands blight, is what I was thinking. If I skip this, I could at least blight the next 2, but because that isn't the case, I really should have let the jungle blight through here, even if it is a loss condition, because it doesn't really matter. And I'll take another one on maybe one of my mountains, and that way I'm really far ahead and taking less Habsburg escalations. So we'll see how that actually ends up a little bit detrimental. So we're back to growth. Like I said, I see the G2 play into the jungles now to be able to skip, and that's what I end up doing. But it really isn't my favorite play. Give me 1 second, I'm just making sure things are recording. Yep. So here, it's generally better to give someone a bedevil, which ends up a lot of the time being the case, more often than not, because when you do this type of push that I did in the jungles, I'll go back with Pursue. You can see I get 2 things out, but on Habsburg 6, it would still be doing 4 damage because you have to push to an adjacent. Or there might be adjacent towns. So in most cases here, you would want the bedevil to get that extra defend 3 versus this town to prevent the adjacency in that jungles on land 2, E2. That way, next turn, I'm guaranteed to be able to get the coastal since it has no pull. And then it's easier just to let 7 go. But here you see I do push those out, I defend that, Habsburg 5, kind of a standard play. We don't want to do mountains because mountains are coming up next, and we don't want to cause another loss condition. We will prevent loss conditions at all costs. And I do end up using Dreadful Tide on this jungles. Don't love the play. I would probably say it's better to scale opt into the growth on the mountains and then be able to pull the Han in with like a beast or something next turn. That way you can deal with that because we're saving guide, and then you can pull your beasts into a future land to deal with that in the future turn. You generally want to stay ahead of beast movements. This turn I know that's happening already, and I know I already have the defend 4, so I'm just actually going to gather other people's beasts closer to me. Yep, here, I'm going to go back a little bit. So as we do our first innate, we're going to check the ranges. We can see that those 2 beasts gather into that F7, and we're going to pull those closer. Just waiting for everybody to do their fasts. Oh. Alright, so the event. Add an explorer to a land with blight. Push up to 2 explorers or towns from a land with beast. And then in each land with the Han, 1 damage per Han, then each surviving city or town or city deals 1 damage to Han. Not amazing for us. Beasts are not really in the right spot this early on, so kind of sad we got that early. Just opt to kind of kill the town. Realize I forget to add the explorer, so I add the explorer. Then we do mountain build, mountain gather. Opting to pull that wetland town a little bit better because you generally want to keep this area, you want to keep like your stack a stack, so it's why it's kind of a mistake, and just letting it through would have set me up in a better position later in the game, because now I'm only going to take 1 blight and I'm going to get 2 escalations. So here, because of that, I'm thinking, well, Sands has nothing, so it's gonna build gather, and then it's just gonna ravage and add the other blight that I need. So I was thinking of letting that through as a future plan. I make my sacred sites there, but I do think I end up changing that in case I get beast damage off of the event. I'm just constantly shifting and thinking, like, how can I use Guide the Way with Feathered Wings, but also maintain having a beast in that sands in case a beast damage event comes up to be able to kill that explorer, so it doesn't build and it only gathers. Excuse me. So I'm like pre-planning my presence placement here. So as you can see, we're doing like the multiplayer major build and storing up energy to be able to get a really nice major. I think I misplayed then. Oh, it looks like I gathered the Dahan into there using Guide the Way. Okay, no Guide the Way, because I really want the Dahan in the city for the counterattack since I have a guaranteed defend 4. So that's gonna... my presence on E3 is gonna jump to E5 and jump down to E2, and it's gonna bring that one Dahan with it. I don't love the idea of leaving the Dahan next to each other. And then I'm honestly just wasting my first innate here to just gather 2 more beasts in. Okay, so I realized that instead I can do Guide the Way from E3 down to E1, and that leaves my presence there, and I gather all the beasts out of E3 to still be able to defend that for 4. I just happened to forget a Dahan as I placed the other one back in E5, so I'm going to bring that. So my final play ends up being Guide the Way from E2 to, or E3 to E1, just to have a beast in E1, because it's very important that you have beast lands with explorers to kill explorers to prevent builds if that happens. It's like it's a chance, and the chances are on my guides. But I can actually go look it up. Actually message somebody about this. So right now in Jagged Earth, there's a 61% chance to draw a beast event, 31% chance to pull damage or destruction based beast cards, but 47 to about 47 to 68. There's a decent chance, about 50% chance we get an average quality beast event, which will kill the explorers. 50 to 60%. Someone takes Bedevil, of course, for support. I didn't even notice he gave me natures here. It's hilarious. I didn't even take it. I should have. What does the event do? I have not flipped the event yet. Waiting for people. Here we go, missionaries. So prey on the unwary. Each beast is going to destroy an explorer. So that huge amount of prep time of doing kind of our wonky placements and setting up to kill those explorers really pays off here. I wonder if I could add my mouse to this. Oopsies. Really? There's not a general, show cursor or something? Huh, weird. I was just seeing if we could pull my cursor up. I'll have to call out names more. But yeah, missionaries ends up being huge, although I kind of beg them that to do top because I don't really want to pay for it, and I really would love to kill my city here rather than blatant lose my Dahan. It just puts me so far ahead. Extra towns don't do anything versus Habsburg either, if we did draw the sun. Because of the beast damage, I realized to push that explorer into the land with beasts. That's the part of the... I messed it up, but... Oh no, that's the top part of the event. I didn't mess it up. So we do get a fear card. If we're all done with that. What was the fear card? Remove an explorer from an inland then. Honestly, just taking mine to reduce things in that wetland seems okay. So we blight. Jungles come up. This is what we want to see. So earlier, if we did blight, I would just think to skip it or see if we get a major that deals with it. We're generally looking for win condition majors or stuff that'll one-shot, you know, these adversaries. So we are reclaiming here. It is a good idea to grab a major. PS and forests are huge. Forest infinite kills towns and kills cities in this matchup, whereas Power Storm just helps other people kill stuff, so I wanted to showcase me killing it as many mines alone. So Forest is quite the obvious pickup here. Just waiting a bit for everybody to finish. So we gain, we're at 6. We're thinking, how can we forests? I see Keeper got sea monsters, and I'm sad because they're going to pick Indom. Because Keeper with 2 presence growth every turn isn't already enough proliferation that they need a 3rd one. So I initially removed the devil here because I thought I could get threshold, but I need a third mountain, and I don't have a third mountain with EMS. And I was thinking if maybe I could skip it and just kill it anyway, but that ends up being the wrong play. And I think I swapped that out for devil when I realized I can't threshold it, so fuck it. I'm calling for lightning to give me lightning spoon so I can do it in the fast, and then I can move out of there so I don't have to keep presents in for the slow and sacrifice one. Otherwise I would just add more I would get more presents into there, sacrifice it, and then kill it with forests in the slow. Just double checking what I have. I don't think guide is the play here. I think pursue would be better, but because I actually need to solve that other jungle. But then I realized I only have one water card, so here's where I'm like, it doesn't threshold. Take the devil back. Probably just play the devil and smooth away. Let's just fast forward a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it is bedevil. Gonna gather 3, push 2, get them out. Just deciding where to push that third beast. And then I realize I can gather it from that wetlands. Boom. Okay, let's take a look at the event. We get a beast, and we get a defend. So that gets saved even though I wanted to blight. Terrible misfortunes. I actually had a hunch that that would probably get saved. So I get to remove a town here. I realize sands isn't going to come up again, and it's got to be wetlands, so I'm just going to gather the wetlands in. And then I realize it's also Terra 1, so I don't get to remove a town, it's just an explorer. And then I'm sad. Not really thinking too much. Got the coastal explorer here. We had an event that has to we have to place a town instead of an explorer, so I'm just really thinking about where that needs to be done. I realized like I could do it in land 2 and then kill the city or whatever. And then have to place that shit anyway, so. Man. It's so frustrating to just see jungles again. I realize I can do a little bit of a shimmy. So here's where I set up the 3 presents. Death. If I don't get Lightning Spoon, I just sacrifice 1 and then forests to kill the jungle. As we will take a lost condition here for that. Let's see. Forest is definitely going out. I'm just like really planning everything. Nope. What else did I do here? So my placement ends up being here to skip the city build in E1. I'm gonna defend E3. I'm gonna use Lightning Boon to do this. Looks like I'm just waiting on everybody else. I'm gonna skip ahead. Still skipping ahead. Still skipping ahead. Hope we get an event. So we added a town to a coastal land adjacent to a coastal town. Since we're semi-clearing E3, I don't want it there. Then we get to destroy 2 beasts. Or 2 explorers. Best choice is probably E3 so it dies. But I will also get another Dahan there, so it doesn't matter. Just trying to clear the coast since coastals are coming up next. Could probably use the extra defense. Coastals was better. I was thinking I'm gonna pursue next turn anyway, so and push them out, and the 1 explorer could kill itself, so not a big deal. But if sands come up as an explorer, it's kind of gonna be really annoying. I really should have done the sands. Oh wait, sands can't come up. Is it a stage 3? No, it's still stage 2. Sands can't come up, that's why. I was like, yeah, it's whatever. It'll die. Get that extra to Han. Now that this blights and everything is damaged, its health reduces. Equivalent of killing 4 cities. Doesn't seem like I added the fear to the fear pool. Did I miss that? Did I not add that to the fear pool? Kill that. Add 1 fear. Oh, I misclicked. I didn't even hit it. This is 8. Wow, that feels so bad. I didn't even add it. Oh man, I'm such a terrible teammate. Then we go into wetlands, then we escalate. Has to be my wetlands. Sucks to suck. Then my game actually, or my computer ran out of space. My drive ran out of space. So I had to actually move over some recordings and swap over. I wanted to leave my card pick that came out just to talk about it. Love Root Biters here, love the blight removals, love Here There Be Monsters for Fear Gen. I take Absorb Corruption thinking it's going to be neat, because I have blight manipulation to be able to pull stuff into these like built up lands to weaken them. But here I'm pretty much unlocked at the 2-3. In a multiplayer game. Don't need too much energy. You can still have really big turns and play a 3-4 cost minor major very easily every other turn. As long as you just have the big ones that can like really win you the game. Or the high impact majors. Just moving along. Oh, what do I even do here? Let's go back a little bit. So it looks like coastals are ravaging. Looks like I'm just letting that sands through since it got blocked. Trying to figure out how to deal with these wetlands. Getting those out. Defense 7 on that coast, but what I should have been aware of is missionaries is coming back up. So I wasn't really thinking too much about that this time. Or within my card picks, but it ends up working out really nicely that I took a Absorb, which had us on, and I did think that I would need to Fear card or Event card to get some extra defense or help on this mountains, but I don't really care that the Sands is blighting. I'm just trying to clear. Let's keep going. Everybody's doing their fasts. Here we go. That was the last one. Here's the new one. Missionaries. Beast damage. Didn't set it up right. We do pay for it this time. Obviously throw the disease in my land, just in case something happens. First Fear card. Probably comes up pretty clutch. remove and explore a town from a land with the Han, Badlands, or Wilds. So that's plus 3 damage, so right now it's dealing 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Need to reduce it by 5, or basically 2 towns, so I'm going to remove a town from that mountain. Next up. Two Fear, not matching the Ravage card, and just throw it on Sands. It's going to gather into the wetlands, so whatever. Replace a town with the Han, and that solves that land, and also clears that land. Defend 2. A little bit of extra buffer. Not bad, extra energy. Move it along. Ravage those mountains. Build, gather our wetlands. Get the strafe towns in. Get a more free, relaxing next turn. Sands come up. Oh, my reclaim turn, nonetheless. I believe, or it's probably not my reclaim turn. I don't think it's my reclaim turn. Because I actually reclaimed the last turn, but I forgot to take my cards back, I thought. Because I gained Absorb Corruption. What happened here? Yeah, the prior turn, like, moved a Han into there. I reclaimed and got Absorb. I used that a turn ago. I reclaimed last turn because I got Absorb Corruption. Let me just double check. Yeah, I played those. Hit. Reclaim, I believe. Yeah, because I was already 2-3. 2-3-6, and I... use that, hits a reclaim. Didn't actually reclaim my cards when I did this. Just knew what I wanted to play. Alright, so we're back over here. Realize I should have those 2 cards in my hand, but I also did use Absorb to help pay for missionaries. Wondering how Starlight was able to get 5 cards back into his hand. We got Constancy, Sky's Herald, and Drought, and Call to Guard. Call to Guard very much helps me here. Constancy's good. Sky's Herald's good. In most cases, I take Constancy, but I have kind of a botched hand. And then also, in most cases, I would take Sky's Herald. These are like all cards I would take versus Habsburg. But the pick here ends up being Call to Guard because it helps me get into that wetland to defend that. Oh. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. Pull 1 in. Don't really have any beasts, so it's just defend 3. Could have called for Bedevil Help, forced it on Keeper, but... And then I'm going to plan for foresting that city that pops in my coastal sands and kill everything else there. I think things take a while. They do a Twin Days. Numinous Crisis. I believe we go bottom. I just paid a 3 energy. Kill some behind because of the disease. Oh, could get fear cards. Oh. I think we just remove a town. Maybe not. Let's do. On each word, remove town. What did I remove? Oh, I guess I removed from the mountains to prevent that double build. That's probably pretty smart. Yeah, then we ravage. Build gather. No strife on that boy anymore. I think I forgot to gather into my mountain. Minor mistake. Considering I didn't even add 8 fear from earlier. I think we realize we can just shotgun the fear, even if, you know, that town was still alive. So everybody else kind of adds their fear, starts doing their next turn. We really realize all we want is fear, so I'm like, okay, I could generate a lot of fear. Habsburg is kind of just a slog of everything's solved, everything's blighted because you have to versus Habsburg, and then generate just a bunch of fear. So 4 from that. And that gets us over. And then all we have left is a city which someone is able to kill. And that ends up being GG versus Habsburg. Not too much strategy other than some of the interesting plays earlier before the Habsburg card comes out. Once the Habsburg card comes out, you're kind of at a little bit of full strength and sitting pretty, and then just honestly waiting to get terror level 3, because you're very much capable to be able to take care of all your cities on your board, skip anything you need to skip, push anything you need to push, and just chill. Not a hard matchup, just kind of boring, in all honesty. Sure, I was a little bit lucky with Forest. I also got Power Storm. I could have drawn more majors, you know. If I didn't have the right cards, I would definitely be focusing into getting more majors to be able to hit those win cons and just keep stalling until I get them. But that's it for Habsburg.